Well, I think the most important lesson to learn is that you should have eco-compensation schemes in agriculture. So far in China, most eco-compensation has really focused on persuading farmers to stop farming, right? Replacing farmland with grassland or replacing it with forests. And the fact is, in order to guarantee food security for its people, China needs to continue farming in most areas. And so one of the important challenges is, how do you find ways to incentivize better ecological practices on working farmlands? And in the US, the programs that have been tried have aimed toward that goal. Well, I think incentives are very important. It needs to make economic sense for farmers to change the way that they farm. And so whether you're doing it through government payments or finding ways that maybe the marketplace will pay farmers more for their crops, then those are both ways that you can create an incentive that directly helps farmers make the right decisions ecologically. I think monitoring to make sure that you're measuring whether you're having the impact that you want sounds very simple, but in the case of agriculture where environmental impacts may be very spread out, monitoring can be a challenge. And finally, I think that ensuring that you provide some technical assistance so that farmers know what better practices are available is a key element of any successful program. Well, I think one of the really important practical considerations has to do with this question of technical assistance. So in China, you have a agricultural extension system and a grassland ranching, grazing extension system that unfortunately has become very commercialized and is focused on things like selling insecticides and pesticides or selling chemical fertilizers. And these are actually things that will hurt the environmental performance of agriculture. So if China is going to rely on this extension system to help promote ecosystem functions, then there will need to be a real change in the philosophy and structure of the extension system. I think the other issue has to do with the process of planning these programs. Governments around the world, including the US and China, like things that are simple, and oftentimes they have a sort of an engineering mentality, a top-down approach. But in agriculture, as in many types of sustainable development, you really need to understand the complexity of the situation on the ground. And that is a scientific challenge, understanding complex ecosystems and agricultural systems, but it's also a social science challenge of actually listening to and involving the people who you're asking to make changes. So how do you involve farmers in these communities in designing these programs so that they can address the complex local problems that they have? How can you move from a sort of engineering mentality to a more ecological mentality when you're considering how to plan these programs?